Lockdown, security heightened at Tower Street Correctional Facility following attempted prison break. Good evening and welcome to Primetime News on air and online at onespotmedia.com. I'm Janella Precious. Also this evening, gunmen threaten police after gun find and dispute over wage signing. There's also Saturday sports special, sports commentary and weather in this newscast. But I'll have the news in detail after the break. Welcome back to Primetime News and a special welcome to the folks on onespotmedia.com. More details are emerging this evening over the attempted prison break, which was averted by correctional authorities. A major probe is now underway into the discovery of what is being described as a serious security management concern at the Tower Street Adult Correctional Facility in Kingston. TVJ's Giovanni Dennis has the latest.
A family reunited. This man was one of 3 freed men leaving the Tower Street Adult Correctional Facility today after serving time. But other inmates too were trying to leave, but not through the front gate of the correctional facility. News came late Friday afternoon that a major police military operation was underway to secure the facility after an escape tunnel was discovered. Confirmation came today from the communications arm of the police.
A team went and some searches were carried out. Some tunnels were located. Investigations into that are ongoing. It's early days yet, but the investigation is very active at this point, coming from the discovery that was made yesterday.
When we visited the facility today, we saw this Jamaica Defence Force vehicle parked on the outskirts along with police personnel. Shortly after, we saw this police scene of crime van making its way out of the facility.
There is heightened security presence here at the Tower Street Adult Correctional Center in Kingston. Members of the Jamaica Defence Force and members of the police force are also here at the moment doing their investigations into the discovery of a tunnel here at the facility yesterday. Now, all the persons we saw were very tight-lipped. However, we did manage to get a word in from the Department of Correctional Services.
There are always lessons to be learned, and so we'll continue to improve our security. We'll continue to be alert, and I want to again say congrats to the correctional officers who I think have done a good job in stemming what would be a serious security implication for Jamaica.
We caught up with the State Minister in the Ministry of National Security, Pernell Charles Jr., who said a report relating to the incident is to be on his desk in short order and an update will be forthcoming from the ministry. For the meantime, however,
I've said is that we are moving swiftly to control the area, to manage the situation, and it is a security situation which we have the full support of the JDF, the full support of all of the teams from the JCF, and if external support is needed, we'll also get that.
Mr. Charles conceded that improvements need to be made within the security network of prison facilities, but was quick to point out that yesterday's major aversion by the Department of Correctional Services is a step in the right direction.
What you received as information was not that there was an escape, but that there is information which has led to the DCS taking action. That in itself is a demonstration of the increase in intelligence which we are receiving. And so what you're seeing here is exactly what we want. We want to be in a situation where we have control and where we can act before something occurs. And so I must applaud the correctional officers and the members of the JCF and JDF for their swift action.
Giovanni Dennis, TVJ News.
Over in Clarendon, the police today seized 2 guns and a bulletproof vest in the Buzzrock community in the parish. According to police reports, about 12 midday, a team of officers were conducting an operation in the area when they saw a group of men acting suspiciously in an abandoned building. While approaching the building, the men ran. The police gave chase, but the men escaped. The building was searched and a M16 rifle, a Glock pistol with several rounds of ammunition and a vest were found. It is believed that the men may have escaped with other guns. Acting Superintendent David White told TVJ News that since the seizure, the police have been receiving threats to return the guns. And the Portland police are getting tough in its border protection both on land and sea amid increasing concerns about migrating criminals and the illicit guns for drugs trade. As TVJ's Jeline Pearson reports, the police say they've been making headway.
Portland is no safe haven. That's the message Commanding Officer Dwayne Wellington is sending to runaway criminals from other parishes. He said since the start of the year, police teams have captured 2 wanted persons whom he says came from other parishes. The commanding officer emphasized that strict security measures are being put in place at the borders of Portland to hinder criminals seeking refuge in the parish.
So it is not for the scammers or anyone seeking refuge. Don't come to Portland. It doesn't make sense. You'll be caught.
DSP Wellington added that both land and sea in the parish are being monitored to help diminish the guns for drugs trade. He's commending the residents whom he says are cooperative in the fight against crime in the parish.
Partnership has been one of the most dominant features in terms of our crime fighting strategy. The people are on board here with the police, and for that we are eternally grateful. And I wish that we'll continue to enhance and strengthen the relationship so that we can achieve even more and bring Portland to a much lower crime rate. We want Portland, we the police here, we want Portland to be the model for all other divisions to follow in terms of crime reduction. And the citizens play a very critical part in all of our endeavors.
Since the start of the year, Portland recorded 1 less murder when compared to the corresponding period last year. In highlighting some of the police's achievements in the parish so far this year, the DSP noted that 73% of the 11 murders committed have been solved. Jeline Pearson, TVJ News.
Meanwhile, a senior police officer is calling on neighborhood watch groups to assist in keeping migrating criminals out of communities. For Senior Superintendent of Police Steve McGregor, the time has come for neighborhood watch groups across the island to change their approach in dealing with community safety. Speaking at the National Neighborhood Watch General Meeting on Saturday, SSP McGregor highlighted the need for the operations of the various groups to be data-driven.
The neighborhood watch group must have a list of all the unoccupied houses in the community. You know why? So that they can find out if it is commandeered by a gang group or somebody that is running away from St. James and looking a safe haven, and they will take refuge in that unoccupied house. As also, they must have data on that and those houses so you can pass it on to the police to say when you're patrolling, these are the places that you need to watch to see what.
He further advised that a list of all street lights and areas where there are overgrown shrubs should be documented so that action can be taken. And within the neighborhood watch groups, he is recommending the establishment of subcommittees, one of which he says is critical is a consultative committee. That committee's main aim should be to settle disputes.
Example, a young lady from down the bottom of X Street will be walking up at the top, pass some of the boys up at the top, and one of the boys might say something to her that she don't respond that well to. When she go back down, she tell the boys down the bottom, say, you know, say the dirty boy Tony up, so call me and say Ray. So you know the boys on the bottom going galvanize around her argument. And twos, there's a war between top and bottom, that road, you know. And you can get 5-6 murders out of that simple matter that could have been resolved if there was somebody or a group that can go to.
The JCF's Community Safety Branch is partnering with the National Neighborhood Watch Movement as part of efforts to make communities across the country safer. SSP McGregor outlined a 6-point plan which includes a curfew program for children under the age of 17 and a mentorship program.
I was in Panama just the other day, and they were talking about how Jamaica was voted as the #1 destination for people to go and get married. Did you know that? Yes, Jamaica is the #1 destination for people to leave from whence they came. They're not a bad country. It is just that our people need now to stand up. This is a call to action and be counted. Don't make that few. We have always been saying that is only a few people are committing crime. But if it is so, what the majority are do? What the majority doing? Nothing. We don't sit down and say, boy, this and that until we don't reach your doorstep. At that time you start talk, when it's too late.
And parents are being encouraged to spend more time in identifying underlying issues and developing their children's moral values. Speaking at a Cub Scouts investiture ceremony at the Foundation Preparatory in Maypen, Clarendon recently, a Deputy Executive Director at the National Integrity Action, Dr. Patrice Charles Freeman, says one of the biggest problems among youth is the way they treat each other. She made reference to the mass shooting in Parkland, Florida, where a teen gunman killed 17 people.
Of every child that has gone into a school in America, if you look into their mental state, what you will find is that every single one of them has been bullied in some way, shape, or form. Every single one of them have been considered outcasts. As a scout, I want you to go back to school and look around your classroom and find that individual that everybody teases, everybody considers an outcast, and become their friend in some way. That person is the one that needs you the most.
Constable Jason Miller of the Maypen Police Community Safety and Security Branch told parents to be inquisitive in their children's lives.
Know what they're doing. I always say to parents when I go to PTA, police conduct operations, do some operations too, some early morning operations. You know, run in the room, see what's happening, check the books, read the phone messages, find out what is happening in their lives. Don't just give them the devices and leave them at that. Just monitor them, because children live what they learn.
Meanwhile, Dr. Charles Freeman says parents should allow their children to become responsible and independent, adding the aim is to groom them into becoming transformational leaders.
It's very different than just being a regular leader. It makes you extraordinary and exceptional. A transformational leader are those individuals that will truly create sustainable change in Jamaica, which is what we need right now.
A male porter at the Balaclava Health Center in St. Elizabeth is nursing wounds after a man said to be stealing water from a water tank on the compound used a machete to inflict wounds to his forehead and chest. It is said the incident, which happened on Monday, transpired after the porter told the man to stop stealing water from the facility. It is said the porter was then threatened by the man. His injuries are not considered serious. CEO of the St. Elizabeth Health Department, Sean Brissett, says there are plans in place to get the compound properly fenced. A security guard was also placed at the center to prevent further stealing. It's believed residents are stealing from the facility due to water problems in the community. Loxon Blake is a resident.
Rough, me I tell you. We have to try water, buy water from pipe, $2,000. And if you have pipe, you don't have to pay so much water.
The Jamaica Confederation of Trade Unions, JCTU, is coming under more fire this evening for signing a new 4-year wage deal with the government before reaching a consensus with its members. A meeting has been scheduled for Monday to discuss all outstanding matters. Under the agreement signed on Tuesday, public sector workers will receive a 5% increase in the first year, 4% in year 3, and a 5% increase in year 4 of the contract. First Vice President of the University and Allied Workers Union, UAW, Clifton Grant, told our news center that it is disrespectful that the Confederation signed the deal despite agitation by some members to the latest offer by the Ministry of Finance. It's a view shared.
The Confed was going to sign the agreement because up to Tuesday afternoon, we were in consultation with the leadership of the negotiating team, pointing out to the leadership some concerns we have in terms of the document that was sent from the Ministry of Finance. And we request a meeting with the Confederation in order for us to sit down and discuss the concerns and try and find some solution to the UAW and other unions concerned. Because 4 unions so far have not signed the agreement, and we can't sign it with those deficiencies in the agreement. We feel that we could have negotiated and get a better settlement.
Now it's a view shared by President of the United Union of Jamaica, UUJ, James Francis.
This is bad. This is bad leadership, and I think I might have to call on the other unions so we could look at the thing with a view to shuffle up the confederation, because I've never heard this in all my life.
Now, in addition to the UAW, the UUJ, the Union of Schools, Agricultural and Allied Workers Union, and the Union of Technical, Administrative and Supervisory Personnel, UTAS, did not sign the 4-year agreement. The Confederation has said that 6 unions signed the deal because their members wanted retroactive payments in March. They include JALGO, the BITU, NWU, and the Jamaica Civil Service Association. President Helene Davis White says she is surprised by the reaction of the 4 unions and dismissed claims the deal was signed in secret. The Supreme Court has directed petroleum marketing company Petcom and its dealer in New Hope, Westmoreland, to try and end their legal battle, which has caused unrest in the petroleum trade. This followed last Sunday's granting of an injunction barring Petcom from dismantling the service station. Meanwhile, Petcom is calling on the government to regulate the petroleum industry, claiming unfair practices. Petcom's legal officer, Sean Kinghorn, says these practices are killing the company's business.
Mr. Kinghorn told TVJ News that cross-filling, which is one brand using the facility of another to sell its fuel, is among the unfair practices affecting Petcom's operation and the petroleum industry at large, and it needs to stop. He says it happened recently after a dealer decided to stop doing business with the company. Petcom says when it went to the service station to retrieve its equipment, including pump and tanks used to store the fuel, it discovered that the dealer had already allowed another marketing company to put its fuel in its tanks and used its facilities to sell the fuel to motorists.
Deal with us fairly and allow us to deal in the marketplace in the way that we're supposed to. And the government also needs to step in. It can't be right that another marketing company, not Jamaican owned, can take up our pumps and put their pumps there and confirm in writing to me that it is they who have done it and they are in fact selling their product.
Mr. Kinghorn says Petcom went back to retrieve the equipment and in the process received a call from the Registrar of the Supreme Court saying they should curtail their action.
Of course, I was shocked because in the 20 years I have been practicing, I don't think I've ever seen or heard of a court convening on a Sunday, certainly not in relation to my clients. I spoke to the judge and I explained to her as best as I could at the time what the position was, and the court, in its wisdom, decided that they would grant a short injunction until Friday. And so we left.
Mr. Kinghorn says the agreement between Petcom and the dealer is that if the dealer decides to part company with them, only Petcom has the right to remove all their belongings. He says also no other marketing company has the right to use the property of another without getting permission. He says in Petcom's case, no permission was given to the other marketing company to use their facility. Mr. Kinghorn says he will be heading to court with the matter. Kirk Wright, TVJ News.
300 farmers chosen from 45 communities in South Manchester and South St. Elizabeth are beneficiaries of grants totaling $1.5 million towards farm supplies. Each farmer received a $5,000 voucher. The funds were donated under GISCO Alpart Jamaica and the GISCO Alpart Community Council's Agricultural Stimulus Program. Operations Manager at Essex Valley Community and Associates, EVC, Camilla Rochester, says the donation aims to boost production in communities neighboring Alpart and help farmers achieve self-efficiency.
Hence, a continuous commitment by Alpart and Alpart Community Council to seek innovative ways to generate economic and social growth in the communities in Alpart's operating areas, with the goal of achieving sustainable development for the environment in which Alpart operates.
We are yet to overcome the beet armorworm situation, which we have under some control now, but the pesticides that will use this voucher to purchase will also help significantly in controlling that.
I am hoping that this will be just the start of other business ventures by Alpart, GISCO and EVC, so that communities can directly benefit, farmers can benefit in our communities.
And we take a break. International stories are next. Please stay with us.